Alrighty, we are live, guys. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I am your host, Patrick Vallejos, broadcasting live from Phoenix, Arizona. Today we are diving into the Delphi murders, the Abby and Libby case out of Delphi, Indiana. Thank you, Farmer. Today, what I want to talk about mainly is the whole Betsy Blair component. Her being the source of the Young sketch. Apparently, her giving a description of a vehicle completely different than Richard Allen's Ford Focus. She made it an old car, different color. Basically, the opposite of what Richard Allen's car was. She gave a sketch completely opposite of Richard Allen. He's old. The sketch looks young. And then why didn't they use the young bridge guy sketch until 2019 when announced during the new direction presser? So that's what I want to talk about. If you guys want to talk about anything else, if you want to challenge any of the things that I've said on my channel, if you want to add to anything that I've said on my channel, if you just want to drop your opinion, I did open up the lines. Anybody's welcome to call. We always welcome healthy debate and a positive attitude. Good to see everybody. Farmer, Red Queen, Night Shadow, Christine, Jamie, what's up? Farmer says BB was on my radar for something, but somebody convinced me it was a ruse. What's up, Jennifer? Hiawatha. What's going on, Jacqueline? My daughter's in Fort Worth is getting scorpion. Oh, gosh. I know all about scorpions. What that tells me is there was construction nearby or somebody with an infestation sprayed recently. Or you guys are having unnatural weather. Maybe it's really hot. Hey, Brett Decker. Well, you better go back about 2 minutes. Tim Perry, welcome in. Did they say if the Young New Direction sketch, if there was a hood and mask? I don't think so. No face covering. The only person to really mention the mask, the face covering, is one of the actual witnesses. That's probably why it was never officially released. What's going on, Audrey? What'd you hear? What part? Yeah, need to stay busy today, Melissa. I've spent all of the last 2 weeks like editing nonstop. What's up? Anything I like? Hello. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? And then also the timeline with Betsy. It's a little strange. In the narrative, right, it says she returned to finish her walk. Like, where are you going? Where'd you go? Yeah, it's a good song. Natural weather, storms every day. Nothing new then, huh? Tim, I have to mention that your Richard Allen comparison from the other day, the short legs, bunched up jeans at the bottom, really makes sense. Yeah, and I don't really know how far we should look into the bunched up jeans. It's just another thing to kind of check off the list, that that Richard Allen has in common with the bridge guy. So according to this timeline, it almost appears as if Richard Allen and Betsy are meeting up. And she's also the only person that saw the girls on the trail. So this is just 100% hypothetical. I'm not here to accuse anybody or anything like that. Let's poke holes in it, better yet. Okay, so if we read the timeline, it appears that Betsy is meeting Richard Allen. It's almost as if the girls interrupted something. Here, let me run it back. Okay, so the girls are dropped off. Kelsey leaves, passes Betsy Blair. Now this part is up for debate. Did the girls try to catch up to RV, BW, and AS near the Freedom Bridge? Did they walk this way? Or did they just go straight to the bridge? Okay, so why didn't they accept her witness account at this point? Yeah, I saw a younger guy in an older model vehicle. Definitely wasn't an older looking guy that I was meeting driving a black little car, but it was an old big car. Definitely not black. It was more of a white. Ziggy. How do we get so lucky to have two lives so close together? Well, the one this morning was something I've been kind of putting together for a week or two. And we should be following up on Wednesday with that. with the Maura Murray case. This is going to be more of a freestyle, open calls. I want to always make sure we're giving you guys the opportunity to call in if you want to. That goes for anybody. But I think I want to kind of dive into a theory that I've been testing out in the Discord. It's the Richard Allen and Betsy Blair are there. I think it's possible Richard Allen was cheating on his wife. What if we always heard a rumor about somebody cheating, was there cheating on their wife and they didn't want to come forward? What if that is a secret or a lie that even Richard Allen's family told themselves? Well, the real reason he didn't want to come forward is because I found out he was cheating on me. He didn't want to talk about it. You know, it's embarrassing for us. Once again, 100% hypothetical. Borderline satire. Just entertain me for a minute. Okay, so we have the person responsible. If Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge, she reported him as young. If Richard Allen is the guy parked at the CPS building in a black Ford Focus, she reported it as an old Comet. I might even have a photo. Hold on. Mercury Comet. So it's like the opposite of the truth. Or is it the truth? Hey, Shadow. It's a good flex. Let's go here. I think this might be the defense leaked memo. However, at 2:15 p.m., when Betsy Blair passed the old CPS building, and I'm pretty sure they have her on the Hoosier Harvest Store video leaving. But why is she leaving? The very moment that Richard Allen is making contact with Abby and Libby, she's out of there. So did the girls interrupt them? Is that the motivation? You interrupted my date, so now you are my date? Or you interrupted my date and now I'm enraged, maybe even high? Because I always struggle with the motivation, but the timeline makes it seem as if they were meeting there together and as if Abby and Libby interrupted them. And all those rumors over the years about an arguing couple and somebody cheating on their girlfriend or wife. Remember that always popped up with the whole DP thing? Betsy Blair did not see a black Ford Focus parked at the old CPS lot. The car that Betsy Blair observed as she passed the old CPS building at 2:15 p.m. looked nothing like a black Ford Focus, according to Legette's own report. So was she a false witness? Thanks, Ziggy. Remember, this is just all hypothetical. We're going to present the theory and then we're going to poke all these holes in it as to why it's ridiculous. Or placed or staged witness. Resembled that her father once owned. So if she was making it up, you think that she would make up something that was familiar to her. That her father once owned. You know, kind of like The Usual Suspects. You guys ever seen that movie? He's just using words off the wall, things that he sees in the room off posters, paperwork, stickers, logos, emblems. He's making a story out of it. Audrey, what's up? I remember hearing about the cheating couple and a couple arguing. Yeah, what if that was Richard Allen and Betsy Blair? What if I told you that in 2005, Richard Allen and Betsy Blair lived 2 blocks away from each other in Greenwood, Indiana? Would that blow your mind? 2 blocks. Hey, what's up, Cody? Good to see you. Do you think she knew what he was going to do with the girls? Maybe after the fact. Not right then and there. Maybe she was embarrassed. Like, oh my God, I can't believe we got caught. Maybe they were on, maybe Richard Allen did cross the bridge. Maybe he was over there with somebody. A little rendezvous, maybe. Just trying to figure out what would motivate somebody and also make sense of this timeline. We're talking about the only person on record that saw the girls on the trail that day. The only person who can verify that the girls were on the trail that day, for some reason, the cops just weren't interested in that sketch. I wonder what that tells us. Rumors are that it's because she was high. But if you know anything about this person, or at least what Facebook tells you, just doesn't seem like the type. But who knows, right? Richard Allen didn't seem like the type. Type schmipe. Okay, so let's look at this timeline again. Just watch how it reads. And in my opinion, I believe Abby and Libby were doing their best to link up with RV, BW, and AS. Because it's almost as if they would have another ride. They wouldn't be in trouble if they were with this group. And then they could move from the trails to a secondary location and keep their day moving. That's why when big sister Libby Kelsey pops in the room and says, "Hey, I'm getting ready to leave," they jumped. We've heard Becky say it time and time again. They jumped at that opportunity. This is what we've been waiting for. This is our ride to the trails. Let's go. This is our ticket out of the house today and on our journey. We might still be able to catch them. And they almost did. Look how close they are. And at that very moment that Kelsey made her decision or her announcement, Richard Allen is pulling up to the CPS building. So it's almost like the second it was announced, he's pulling in. And right behind him comes Betsy Blair. Okay, now let's go ahead and stop this timeline. Let's say none of this happened. Let's say when Richard Allen gets here, he crosses the bridge completely to the south end. The reason he's all covered up is because he doesn't want his friends or anybody to recognize him. He's not there to kill. But why does he have his gun and knife? Was Betsy the target, maybe? Well, let's stick with this theory. Let's say they both cross the bridge. Richard Allen's cheating on his wife. That's why the family never really made a big deal about it. Because they knew he was there. They knew he was interviewed by police, but they also knew that he was trying to fool around. So they cross the bridge. Abby and Libby cross the bridge and catch them in the act. Betsy Blair takes off, embarrassed. Or let's zoom to that part. Okay, so the moment that Richard Allen and Abby and Libby are making contact, she's out of there. So that means that there could have been a conflict prior to that. The same amount of time it would take for Richard Allen to go back and make contact with Abby and Libby out of anger, if this is true, is almost the same amount of time it would take for Betsy to flee off the bridge and back to her vehicle. So the moment he's abducting them is the very moment she's leaving. Do you notice that? Look at this. Almost precisely. And it would be precisely if I got the timing right on here, because it says at 2:15. 2:15, she must have been passing by the Hoosier Harvest Store camera. And at 2:15, we know that the bridge guy is abducting Abby and Libby. It's very strange. Hiawatha, I don't think any of them crossed that creek. Of course they did. One of them was probably carried, and the other most likely ran. But they definitely crossed the creek. Yeah, and I wonder if Richard Allen's vehicle had any decals in the back. Let's see. The young bridge guy sketch. Betsy Blair's first description of the man she saw on the bridge was memorialized in sketch number 2, illustrated on February 17th, 3 days after the girls were found, but not released to the public until April 22nd, 2019, following Superintendent Doug Carter's press conference, the New Direction presser, as I like to call it. On February 17th, 2017, Betsy Blair met with state police sketch artist Taylor D. Bryant and provided a description of the man she observed from 50 feet away on the Monon High Bridge, the same man that Leggett claimed in his affidavit was the killer. Betsy Blair told the sketch artist that the man she observed was a white male, age 20, had brown curly hair, medium built. That's so weird. It just seems very strange that law enforcement. Now, remember, Betsy's the only witness to see the girls to verify they even made it there that day. She says, I saw them. They were coming. I was going. She's the only person to verify they were on the trails. Why would they ignore her description of the suspect? There's got to be a reason. Did she admit to being under the influence? Like, yeah, when I go on a hike, I like to smoke a joint. Or something else. Hiawatha says they weren't wet. I'm pretty sure they were wet. And the current was way too fast. No, it wasn't. Do I need to show you a video of like 5 or 6 people walking in the water and it's only up to like their knees? They're searching for them the very morning that the following morning. There's like 15 people in the water. It has been reported that the crime occurred as DG was searching the trails for Abby and Libby. Your thoughts? Tim, I think that's when the killer panicked. There were some folks coming across the bridge. Here, let's finish out this timeline. So I think that would explain all the sticks, the moving and staging of the body. He knew if he didn't move one of the victims and consolidate the crime scene, they would find her. And if they find them, that means that they'll probably find him, because that means that they're looking for a killer now, not just 2 lost girls. So he's trying to buy time to come up with a better plan. Remember, he had an hour and 45 minutes to figure it out. Look at all this time that's going by. Nobody's even out there. So he really did just get lucky. Nobody's home. Ron Logan just left at 2:09. He's on the highway. The Webbers are gone. Brad won't be home until 4. And then you have these folks. Now, these folks are all a group from Subaru. And these are the other pings that were out there that day between 3 and 3:30 that are not connected with Richard Allen. So it's at this point he's panicked. He's like, oh shit, there's people on the bridge. You got Derek German at this point calling. He's calling for the girls. He was told there was a group under the bridge. Now they are on top of the bridge with the third person. The killer's freaking out. All right. He's like, I got to go move her. He most likely has to move Abby either out of the water from that side and then up over and lays her down next to Libby. He covers them and he leaves. So he bought himself just enough time to come up with his next plan, which is to be proactive. And I think I don't know, but I have a feeling that he sat down with somebody. Somebody helped him work out all the details. Unless he just took the time himself to really come up with a plan. But the answer was to be proactive. You need to come forward Good to see you, Richard. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why we're still talking about the creek. We have the RTV6 chopper footage. We know what was going on with the water. It was very shallow and it was barely flowing. How is it going to change from the 13th to the 14th drastically? Come on now. Look how shallow it is right here. In some places, it's not even over his knees. So you're telling me that they couldn't have crossed right here? Obviously, they could have made it to this point. They could have ran completely down this shallow area and took 10 steps and would be to the edge here. I mean, that's what they did. They crossed right here. I don't know why you guys want to paint this picture of some kind of crazy river. These folks are probably at its deepest point. You can see the bottom of the creek right there. That's how shallow it is. Not to mention, this is Libby's clothing right here. Yeah, that water's not shallow at all. No, I'm saying, I mean, it is shallow. It's not flowing at all. They could have easily crossed. They did cross that creek. They crossed right there. Yeah, but Red Queen, the warmer it gets, the faster the water's gonna flow and rise. But it's not going to be any more drastic than what we're seeing here. This day is not any different than the day before. These days are very similar. There's, you know what I mean? It's not going to be flooded the day before and then be completely shallow enough to see the bottom from a chopper the next. It's just not, in my opinion. Jacqueline says, I agree, it was not a random meeting. But was it a meeting with Abby and Libby or a meeting with somebody else that was interrupted? It's just very strange. You have the bridge guy He's pulling into the CPS building at like 1:26, 1:30. And then you have Kelsey walking into um, to a room in the home that she was staying at, Becky's home, saying, "All right, guys, I'm leaving, going to my boyfriend's." So it's almost like Abby and Libby made plans to go to the bridge. They posted that on social media right at 1:30 or close to. Because we don't know. They could have already been anticipating. They could have been listening to their sister's door, you know. Oh, she's getting ready to go to work. You know, as soon as she says, "Hey, I'm leaving," we'll jump in with her. So maybe they were expecting to go at 1 o'clock. They're just being strategic. So they could have posted at 1. You know, we're meeting up with these 4 other girls at the High Bridge around 1 o'clock. If you have somebody like Richard Allen who's stalking or somehow has access to that information, that could trigger him to show up around that time. But I'm trying to explain, why does everything seem so premeditated? Yeah, and I would expect it to be up, Harvey. Good to see you. I would expect it to be up considering the weather. The warmer it gets, the higher the water is and the faster it's going to flow. But it can't be that much more different than the 14th. I don't think, anyway. Yeah, you're talking flooded. I'm not seeing anything to back that up, though, Don. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying somebody's telling me that Richard Allen and those 2 girls didn't cross that creek because it was somehow so powerful. I'm not buying that. Yeah, so it being possible, it's definitely possible. We don't know how. We know that there was some snow. How much snow? Enough to create the water levels to rise and the river to become violent. Ducketology. Miami County is not big. Richard Allen knows the clients. It's obvious and very unfortunate that law enforcement had not found evidence of a connection. I don't know if it's obvious. That means that it's obvious to you. What makes it obvious to you should be handed over to the law enforcement, or if you want, you could share it here. Yeah, Don, I get what you're saying. It's definitely possible, and it may have been the truth, but I haven't seen that, and I don't buy it. Is it possible? Hell yeah. The day was much warmer. There was snow melting. Everything was muddy. But yeah, but in my opinion, even if the water level was raised and it was somewhat flowing faster than it appeared to be on the 14th, they still could cross it. And the people who were talking about the water levels were trying to push a narrative that the girls were found in the water. What's up, Diana? Yeah, what's going on, Harvey? How you doing? Ducketology. Unless Anthony Schatz was just looking to be a good Samaritan that day, he was involved. Why would KK delete that phone? Well, I think that's an easy answer. I think it's the same answer that I would give as to why Ron Logan wanted an alibi. Because there's criminal acts that are going to be uncovered because of this crime, regardless. Law enforcement can't just be like, oh, well, this was a horrible crime. I'm going to overlook CSAM charges and habitual offender charges. No. So I think they both did the same thing. Ron Logan came up with an alibi so that they didn't find out he was drinking and driving and on a suspended license. Keegan Kline lied and did what he did, potentially to not to get busted for the CSAM. If he was catfishing somebody that was just murdered, oh yeah, I mean that would make him panic for sure. Now, what if Keegan Kline was catfishing, let's say Richard Allen too? Maybe that's how he knows him. You know, he could be much more sick individual than we think, sextorting people, men and women. I mean, who knows? V says light rain and fog on the 12th, high of 48. Snow would have been long melted. I know there was a little bit of snow on the 12th. We have photos. It's very little. It's enough to make it muddy for sure. Thanks, V. Appreciate you looking. RC99, welcome in. KK doesn't strike me as the outdoors type. I don't know. There's some photos of him and his pops out there, you know, but I don't see him as a hiker. Don says, I don't buy that they were found in the water. They were found on land and left on land, in my opinion. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors, Farmer, Ziggy, thank you, and Mustang. Appreciate you guys. Jacqueline says, I think Richard Allen used his late brother in law's profile to troll for CP, so he may have somehow knew the girls would be there. Yeah, I kind of threw that rumor out in my Catalyst video. We see that Kathy says something about him being catfished. And we always talk about Richard Allen not really, well, at least law enforcement hasn't told us they found any CSAM or anything like that on his devices. So maybe he was using somebody else's devices. So who knows? But that is what I heard. They don't know who it was, but somebody was accessed John Walker's Facebook and I think maybe some other accounts and was trying to talk with women and young girls. That's unverified, but comes from a local source. And we do know that somebody did hack his Facebook. Kathy referred to them as a monster. I don't know why you would refer to somebody who just simply hacked the account, like maybe it was some kind of advertising bot. I don't know if you've seen that. All of a sudden, somebody that you know their account's trying to sell you sunglasses or something. It's because they've been hacked, right? So if it was that, it would just be like, oh, he was hacked and we're trying to fix it and then we're going to memorialize it. But no, it was a monster of a person has hacked this account. That means that something was going on behind the scenes. Maybe there was messages, things like that. I mean, the heat alone could cause the water level to rise and increase in speed. Ducketology says, what a coincidence if Richard Allen was using accounts to do what KK was doing. Go figure. There's just no evidence of that, though. I still haven't found anything solid that Richard Allen and Keegan Kline are connected. Do I think it's likely or possible? Yeah, for sure. In some way. But I'm caught up in that because of the Wabash River search and Keegan Kline talking with Nick McClelland at Grissom. Why is he talking to Nick McClelland, the prosecutor of the Delphi case, the day of the Wabash search? Why is Richard Allen being discovered 4 weeks into the Wabash River search? I mean, it could just be one hell of a push and effort from law enforcement to get something going. But I mean, geez, that's hard to overlook. Well, it is for me anyway. Good to see you, Rain Dancer. Welcome in, everybody. If I missed you. Diana says maybe they aren't releasing that. See if they can track other predators. I don't know. All right, guys, this will be our 10-minute warning. If there's any follow-up on this, or if you want to reach me, you can get to me at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. It's my email address, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Yeah. But responding to that earlier comment, I think that Keegan Kline and Ron Logan definitely were motivated to lie without having any involvement in these crimes. I heard some more information that it's possible Richard Allen may have returned to the scene of the crime. I don't know much about that. You guys might know a little bit more. But I guess there's talk he returned on the 17th. That would be very suspicious. Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. I mean, I just can't explain the whole Keegan Kline, Grissom interview, the Wabash River search, the lost tip narrative coming up 4 weeks into the search, Richard Allen being arrested like 3 weeks after that. I mean, God, there's got to be something they're not telling us about that. You're welcome, Audrey. It's good to see you. Thanks again, Farmer Ziggy Mustang, for supporting my channel. Means a lot, guys. Jacqueline says online. Well, we have the Emily Ann account, but we also know that he had a niece named Emily Ann. That could just be a coincidence. But I believe Richard Allen's wife and daughter's middle name is Ann. So I don't know. Maybe he really is somebody that's attached to like an Emily Ann or purchased an account or a profile password. We did an episode on my channel on I guess selling CSAM. They use embedded links that nobody can really gain access to unless you pay this money. I mean, you can't hack them, you can't do anything. So you give the guy $100 and you get access to a link. And this link might take you to, let's say, a Dropbox or something. One of the main ones was Mega. Another one was Wicker. So you would load up all your content and like onto a Dropbox and create this link. Then you go around selling it. I wonder if it's possible for if Richard Allen purchased one of those links. And also, we don't know what was going on with his brother. Maybe his brother was linked up with Keegan Kline. Richard Allen gains access once his brother passes away, starts tinkering with all of his computers and stuff like that. Stumbles upon the Anthony Shots account or something similar. Or already knew about it, maybe. You know, who knows? An unknown component. You're welcome, Diana. Thanks, Frank. Farmer, keep an eye on Emily Ann. I mean, there's got to be more. It's either that or Doug Carter is just constantly talking out of his ass. You know, he's talking about tentacles and dozens of cases coming from all of this Anthony Shot stuff. Like, I plan to, once this is all said and done and all the answers are out, we have a successful conviction and the books are closed, like, we need to hold him accountable. He said, I can't wait to tell you. When this is all said and done, I can't wait to explain it all. I'm not letting that shit fly. I'm going to be there with my hands on my cheeks and my popcorn, like, all right, you promised. Yeah, Heather, that's what I'm talking about. I'll be pissed, you know, because you have a lot of explaining to do. Oh, we can't explain our methods. We can't explain this. We can't. One day, you know, one day I'll be able to. I can't wait. That's all, you know, that's how he would avoid all the tough questions. I can't wait. One day I'll tell you. Well, damn it. I didn't forget about that. Heather says he did say that, and they need to answer a lot of questions because we pay. Exactly. That's my point. They are representatives in a way, and you have a right to know. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And I'm not saying me personally, I'm talking about the victims' families and the people of Indiana. I mean, this being one of the biggest cases ever in the United States of America, especially during modern times, and it being so unusual of a case. I mean, it seems to get worse with every week. And all we get is, oh, one day I'll tell you. Well, oh, I can't wait. You know, like, oh, man, I just can't wait. I know it. I have the answers. They're right here. They're right here on my little piece of paper. I just can't show it to you yet. It's got some explaining to do. Yeah, it's going to be sad when we realize that's what he was doing, right? Buying time. Mustang says, I like Doug Carter. I think he will tell everyone after the trial is over. I hope so. And I'm always going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm definitely going to make it a big fuss about it. I can't tell you that right now. One day I'll be able to. I can't wait for that day. I can't wait for that day. Well, I can't wait either. Yeah, isn't that creepy, Redfoot? Hey, will you send me his information? I totally forgot about that dude. That's like his cousin or whatever, right? The dude that like worked on Country Club Road in Peru during the time. Yeah, that could be one of the missing pieces here as well, because that is a little creepy. Especially what we know was on Keegan Klein's phones. Yeah, if you remember his name, will you email that to me or put it in the Discord? I was trying to remember the other day and I couldn't because it looks like he removed all of his shit. Facebook, everything. Don't blame him. Okay. I think I can find it. Pretty sure he's Keegan Klein's cousin. All right. This will be our final comment from Hiawatha. Can y'all imagine the books people are going to write about this case and their experience in it or covering it? Oh, yeah. Aiden Clark. That's a good question. I wonder what they will do with that voice sample and the video, if anything. Yeah, super close. That's a good point. You always have those super close cousins, right? Every time you go to grandma's, you're with them. Every time you go to a family outing, you hang out with them. It's a good point, Redfoot. Yeah, we should explore that a little bit. I'll check with you guys in the Discord. Hopefully, we can get that convo started. Haven't touched on that in a while. No, not Travis Trexler. This guy is much closer. Penny, welcome in. So many names involved. I definitely believe it's a circle of predators. Well, that's what we've been led to believe. Right until Richard Allen pops up, this guy with no real connection to anything as far as online anything. But once again, I feel like that's because he made an effort. He made an effort not to be known, to hide in plain sight. All right, guys. You enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're going to try to do a members live stream tomorrow at some point, maybe even tonight, if I still have all this energy. But either way, if you are part of the replay crew, let me know what you think. Oh, welcome in, Cindy. Glad you can make it. But yeah, let me know. You can always shoot me an email, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. You can leave a comment under this video if you could like it on the way out. We're keeping an eye on everything, Farmer. Plus, whenever I have these curiosities, I just want somebody to kind of dismantle it when I can't. Yep, the cousins. And not all cousins, I kind of hated on some of my cousins. but I had some that were like ride or dies. Hey, Charlotte. Well, anyway, guys, I'll talk to you again real soon. Members, keep an eye out for the notification. And replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Peace.